Not much going on a dreary Monday. Well, what you see out there is a very wet, rainy day. I've already got the trash bins in for Monday. They went early today. Any other day when it wasn't raining, they would go late. And probably if they went late today, it wouldn't have been rain. But you know how that works. So basically what we're going to do today here is look at some stuff on the computer, because I don't feel like doing anything else. And that's about the size of that. So join me on the computer in just a second. Well, as promised, here we are on the computer. What I have up on the screen is the diagram that I made for the Motorola 5A1. Now, there was some confusion, I think, on this. This is actually a different radio, as you can see right very clearly, Model 5A1 schematic diagram. Now, this is not the complete diagram. This is the diagram that I made from that schematic that shows basically all of the components I will be using on my radio. And I do have a 5A5, but it is virtually identical to the components used on the 5A1. Now the 5A1, and I'm going to say this again for anybody that got confused, was a battery only tube portable radio. There was no AC hookup for it. In other words, you couldn't plug it into the wall, and the only way it worked was on batteries. So that's the difference, the main difference between the two radios, the 5A5 and the 5A1. So basically, like I said, here's your again 67.5 volt so B plus supply over here, and then your battery over here is a 1.5 volt flashlight cell, and that's how they are connected there. I'm going to use this diagram as I'm going to check off things as I do this, as I do the wiring. I don't know if anybody noticed on the Saturday update, I already had one piece of wire in wired up, and that was the wire that went from the tuning capacitor here. This is the oscillator trimmer for the tuning cap. There's two tuning gangs on there. There's one for the oscillator and one for the antenna, if I could talk. But anyway, the oscillator is, I think, almost always the smaller of the two. But anyway, in this case it was, and I've already run this wire here from here to here. So that one's the only wire I had, so I guess I could have marked that off. But I haven't yet, but I will. And like I said, that's just something I'm going to be doing as I go on this quest to get this put together. All the components are on except for the antenna, as you saw, and I'm going to do a little work on that antenna housing, get some wires ran out so I can hook that up a little easier than it was before. As it is now, the hinges are hooked to the wires for the antenna, and I'm really not crazy about that setup, so I'm going to change that around a little bit and have the wires run out through the plastic, and they will run over wherever they go to. As you can see, here's a white green here and a white, pure white. The pure white goes into the directly into the tube, the 1R5, and that is goes to also to the other gang of the tuning capacitor. So that'll be easy wire to wire. Probably one of the first things I'll wire after I did that other one was the grounds, because I have several grounds to be hooked up. One from the tube right here has to be hooked up. That one will have to be hooked up. No, that one's already hooked up. I'm sorry. That one goes from 4 to 1. That goes from basically here to here on the tube socket, and that is already hooked up. So there will be the oscillator coil will have to be hooked into that on pin 4, and as you can see, that's pin 5 of the oscillator coil, hooks into pin 4 of the tube, and that will have to be done there. And then the rest of these connections will be made, and all the connections will be made eventually. I just got to get everything in order. Really haven't done anything since I did the thing Saturday. Weather here has been, I won't say cold, but it's cool, and with it rainy today, even though the temperature's I think in the 50s, it just feels really cold. I went out and got the trash bins in and got wet doing that, and now I'm sitting here kind of shivering a little bit, but you know how it is. So wanted to make some kind of little video here this morning and do something to, I'm just bored out of my mind basically. So you know, that's just the way that works. You know how you get these situations where you don't really have anything to make a video out of, and you want to make a video, but you don't really have anything. So that's what's going on as far as this is concerned. I kind of wanted to bring this back again and clear up any kind of misconceptions there was about this schematic. Like I said, this is not the actual 5A5 again. This is a 5A1, but it is virtually identical. And the reason I'm using this is because it is battery only, and that is what my setup is going to be. There's going to be no AC going to it. It's strictly B plus and you know, battery and a flashlight battery. That's what's going to power this section, and that's going to be it. Now on this here, this is going to be completely separated on this side. I don't have it separated on here yet, but I will. This will not be existing here, this wire, and this will be basically on its own. This will not even be powered, nothing at all coming off of that. And in that respect, that's how I'm going to couple it to the other radio, and that way there is no power connection between the two at all. This will not be connected to ground, nothing. And so that's just basically the signal being coupled, as Rick McWhorter says, magnetically between the two coils, and we'll pass over to the other side here, which is going to be on the GE radio, the little transistor radio. And once that's done, it should provide a IF type 455 kilohertz signal to be fed into the IF of that GE, and I'm hoping that's what works out. And if it doesn't, well, we'll figure it out, but I think it will. And like I said, I don't think there's going to be any problem coupling that, because there's not, like I say, there will be no power on these two wires here at all from this radio. And even if it was, it's battery, it's not going to be a big deal. But like I said, I want to get this done because I'd like to see how it's going to work. For my own curiosity's sake, and I'm sure other people are interested as well. But I've always wanted to do something like this, couple radio sections together, because my thought, as I'm sure you're aware, is, because I've said it before, signals are signals. Doesn't matter where they come from. As long as it's a 455 kilohertz RF type signal modulated, it should feed the IF section of any radio. As far as, well, I shouldn't say any radio that uses 455 IF, that's what it should feed. And it doesn't matter if it's from a tube, from a transistor, from a crystal radio. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It just, whatever it is, as long as that signal is the same signal, it should be able to be fed to a different radio. So anyway, that's what I'm doing on that. I have other things going on. I was working yesterday on this a little bit, this computer, playing around with some stuff. I have that, you guys may recall, I have the 1 terabyte hard drive that was on my other computer, and I thought I'd play around with it a little bit. And what I did was install MX Linux on it to see how it ran from USB, and it sucked. Plain and simple, it sucked. It does not run. It's very jerky. Well, it did run, but it's jerky, and I didn't care for it at all. So I was going to try doing something else. That I was going to install the Microsoft Windows 7 onto the internal hard drive, because you can't run, well, I think you can, but it's kind of complicated on how you do it, but you can't run Windows from USB. And I was going to go ahead and do that, but I think what I'm going to do is just, now that I've tried the running the Linux from the USB and seen how bad it runs, I just think I'll probably wait and get another hard drive and put in there, and then run both of them that way. And I've also still got my hard drive caddy that allows you to hot swap hard drives on the front of the computer, and that's from the other computer. I'm going to install that in here, and that will allow me to install various different hard drives into the system. And if I want to run something else, I can, or if I need data from another hard drive or anything like that, I can easily swap that in there and use that. And so that's what I'm going to do. So that's going to be coming up. I don't know how much I'll show of that, but I probably will show a little bit of it, because I haven't really showed the new computer much at all. I thought, when I do that, I'll have to take it down and get the hard drive caddy installed inside of the system, and maybe we'll do that on the bench or something. So look forward to that. I don't know what else that there is going on. Not really much going on. Like I said, it's a rainy day here in Seymour, and really just not really in the mood to do much besides sit here and warm up. Getting out there to get those trash bins was just really cold. And like I said, it's not the rain, the cold, or the temperature is not that cold. Like I say, it's 50 something degrees. I don't know, or maybe low 50s, but it was still, that's not that cold. And it's just the cold rain hitting you that, makes you cold. And when you come back in here to the house, you're wet. And I don't have the temperature very high here inside. I think it's on 68. So it's not really, I'm under my heated throw right now to make it a little bit better. But anyway, so that's it from DERB today. Not much. I'm sorry that there's not much. I'm kind of like Bill. This is a boring video, but is what it is. And they can't all be great. Not that any of mine are, but anyway, it's a video, so I probably will post this tomorrow. I don't really feel like doing it today, and so you guys have a pleasant day the rest of the day. I hope it's not raining where you're at. And so, like I say, thank you so much for watching, and we will see ya.